out here. Last time we left off, we did character creation. That's about it. And we also spoke with the first NPC that we're forced to talk to. The, Mortuary Skull for We Are Fane. Wizard Supreme.
And now you are silent. If only all humans were so thoughtful.
That's what I forgot to do. Zoom in and out using the mouse scroll wheel, and move the mouse to hold middle mouse to rotate camera. Also, it has Diablo. Alright.
Where did I leave my calipers?
Assuming that you are a necromancer of some kind. Well, that's an interesting mask. Seems more like a cage than anything. Press I to access the character menu. This is your inventory. Everything you picked up is stored here. Press the right mouse button on objects in your inventory to find out what you can do with them. Small poison bottle.
Where did I leave my calipers?
Contrived from the scum of Revelion's vilest troll's feet, witches' gums, and demon dung. This poison can take down an average-sized Wallach. Resurrection scroll, resurrect a dead ally. Don't know why I just have this. Fireball. Normal backpack, seemingly bottomless. That's funny. Tattered cowl. Hubert's Encyclopedia, Lucian and the Black Ring. Can I read? I can read it. Okay. Fane's notebook and an empty potion bottle. This notebook is filled with meticulous notes, observing the traits and habitats of the mortal races. It details the foods they eat, the clothes they wear, and their speech patterns. It also includes some rather confusing diagrams of their mating habits. Thank you, Fane. I now know what you read in the meantime. In your meantime. Source collar. A study collar hums faintly with energy. Powerful magic swirls within. And I've got my pants. Let's look like a human.
You are you, but more. You are another, but not. You look to your hands, your belly, your feet. Flesh you don't know, molded into unfamiliar shapes. You cradle your aching head, where another's memories and wisdoms mix with your own. Your fingers trace a line from your head to your face, feeling not the creases of the mask, but the porous surface of new skin. You lower your arm, blink twice, and step forward in this new guise.
Hopefully it doesn't do that each and every single time. New skills. Skills from items, turn into lizard, revert to original form, turn into a human, turn into an elf, and turn into a dwarf. It'd be funny if I go in as Fane the whole time and I just forget to, and just forget to change him back into an undead occasionally. That's Fane's notebook, and you know what, let's read this. Lucian and the Black Ring. In this treatise, Cranley the Scribe goes to great lengths to document the genesis of the Black Ring, as best he can. In summary, Lucian's adopted son, Damien, was resentful of his father and became the Lord of Chaos. Which sounds extreme, but according to Hubert, Damien may had good reason. There is much about Lucian's killing of Jurgen, Damien's lover. Damien's banner attracted a cabal of outcasts, deviants, dark wizards, and various other tainted and tarnished individuals. The cabal became an army fighting for the void. Alrighty then. What else is in here? Another small tome. I think I understand how to read books. I think I've been doing that already, much to the annoyance of literally everyone. But I'm just going to get this out of the way now for anyone who's watching, or anyone who watches on YouTube. I will read a ton of things. I will also probably not mark when the reading starts and stops. It'll just be as I get the items and have time to do so. That doesn't cause, like, there's nothing in the game forcing me to not do so. As such, I'll tend to take my time reading these. Just skip ahead if you don't want to listen to them. We have too long presumed Source as a virtuous part of civil society, yet we need look no further into the past than the Source King's reign to understand the havoc such magics may wreak. One day, another order must follow in the Source Hunter's footsteps. Sorcerers must be muted. The new model of Source Collars provided by Redeman is most effective. Alright, well that makes sense with everything that we're wearing. Alas, poor soul, better that you weren't acquainted. I know I transformed right in front of him, but I have to try.
And now you are silent. If only all humans were so thoughtful.
Alright, I guess I'm going to speak with Miss Magister. I wonder if I should be in an undead guise, or if she even cares.
You're up. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself.
I'm assuming the red means if I touch it, they're going to get angry, so I'm not going to touch it yet until I'm out of sight.
Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
I believe I know why she collared us. I think the introductory cutscene explained that well enough. Mused that by the room's shape you can tell you're on Lucian's class frigate. But why? Mystic, say you had a long black dream about a ship sailing the River of the Dead, but you're not dead, are you? I believe the third could be constituted as a threat. It's also snarky, so let's do it.
No, you're alive, and you're having a conversation. You are on a ship, of course. But luckily for us both, we're merely sailing the plain old sea.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
Let's ask why we were collared. I'm curious.
Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Source spells of yours? See what happens.
I'm not going to do it. I'm fully aware of what's probably going to happen. Based upon that book, I think I can put two and two together.
Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. Promise. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you at all, though it does look darling on you. So let's just leave it on, shall we? Because, to answer your question, what the collar does is this. It makes you unable to cast Source.
So, from what little I know, I'm assuming Source power is either mostly infinite or just naturally grows inside of someone, which would make them moths to a flame, or would make them the flame to many moths around them. And the collar would suppress it, but if it did that, the collar would probably break eventually, because you can't suppress an infinite wellspring of something forever without something leaking. You know what, I'm not even going to bother to ask.
For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
Yes, yes, no. Let's see. Eons ago, I studied the Veil, a barrier of pure source, hiding something in the universe. Alas, the king forbade my research, took me from my family, and sealed me in a tomb. I woke up when some poor mortal uncovered my place of rest. I do feel quite bad for devouring his source. Alas, I was arrested before I could discover what happened to my wife, daughter, or people, but rumors suggest answers may lie in the Black Pit's oil field and Reaper's coast. Well, because we have source powers, I can only assume that this collar only exists for so long. I have a magical collar that cannot be removed. That's funny. Troubled waters. We have been told to look for Magister William at the stern of the ship in order to be registered. Perhaps we can explore a little before we go to him. We are sorcerers being transported in the Divine Order's internment camp in the island fortress of Fort Joy. Fair enough, although I would ask Zarok that, since you're the one here right now, this mostly just applies to you. I know you've played the game before, but I would still like to learn what I can about this. I have some spoilers from talking with my friends about things that will pop up in the future, so if I don't react surprised, I won't be, but they were still mostly tight-lipped around me, as this was my Christmas gift from them. Also, she really, really, really wants her calibers. Oh well. As such, I would just request, hey, you never actually finished the game? Well then, I will finish it before you. Yeah, right. The Merryweather. Lucian the Divine, champion of the seven gods and savior of rebellion, is dead. He sacrificed himself to defeat the forces of the Void, leaving his son, Alexander, to preside over the next chapter of Rebellion's history. But Lucian's sacrifice did not buy peace. Instead, the years that followed were plagued by the menace of Voidwoken. These beasts were drawn to source magic, and left death and destruction in their wake. Incapable of wielding the divine powers that his father had at his disposal, Alexander has resorted to harsher measures in order to stop the Voidwoken. A great pogrom has commenced against sorcerers, those who show the most skill in the manipulation of source. Encouraged by his most trusted advisor, Dallas, Alexander has decreed that all sorcerers must be resettled in isolated colonies, where they cannot pose a threat to the rest of Rebellion. One such colony is the ancient island stronghold of Fort Joy. It is to this place that I, a captive sorcerer, am being sent. After the fourth, then stop playing and had to restart after installing some mods. Okay, fair enough. Most of the stuff they were talking about was actually after that point. Admittedly, this is actually described what I only expect will happen. That's kind of a natural thing. Though he is a sorcerer and wears a source collar, Bishop Alexander continues to lead the Divine Order, as he is the son of Lucian, and it is widely assumed he will succeed him as the next Divine. Alright, there are no archived quests, we haven't finished anything. There is a map, there's a few dialogues that we can... Oh, I can look through any dialogue. That's really nice. That might actually help me with hints. I need to remember that that's actually there. Cue me forgetting. Will this give me a warning? What do you think you're doing? Okay. Stealing. Proceed to enter sneak mode and steal some property when the owner isn't looking. Hard mode, lone wolf. Oh, God. Search all of your belongings. Now let's take a look. Let's try to talk our way out of the situation. Okay. That's disappointing. Persuasion. Sometimes you'll be able to persuade the person you are talking to. Your answer, your stats, and your persuasion ability will decide how successful you are. You know, we are the same race. I don't have anything for bribe. Wits, I don't think I have... So the bonuses I have are to something else in Constitution. I don't remember the +2. It might be Wits. It might be. But I also know that, as you'd stated, memory and wits are the primary stats of a wizard, and I should have a high memory. Persuasion failure, needed 3. I've got no patience for lies. Int, yes, okay. This seems like a horrible idea. Ah well. It's played in rounds. Everything you do in combat costs action points, which you receive each round. Your turn ends when you have no AP left. This looks like we might actually... yeah, with all the people around me that I just made hostile, I would do combat. Int, wit, and memory. Thank you. This, while funny, not gonna use fireball. It's a horrible idea. Ignition. You know, we might as well do this just to have fun with this. Around me on fire. Because it's only things in point blank. Assuming that's armor of some respect. That's funny. Oh, they're not angry anymore. I know it's a bad idea. I'm just doing it for funsies at this point. Okay. Now that this is over and done with, we're just going to resume because I didn't honestly expect combat to immediately happen. So, yes. I'm just going to reload here.
Good gods, there's been a murder here.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass. Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
They've always been saying something about a murder over here. I feel the need to take a look at it.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. You surprised? You're one of them. You know what sorcerers are capable of? Whoever did this found a way around their collar and killed a man.
Interesting.
Small ones this time, thank the gods. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
You know, honestly, somehow I doubt it.
Is. Dallas is such a dear lending it to me.
So they said at the stern of the ship. I'm assuming I can just walk through here, at least. And that they wouldn't complain about it, because I'm heading towards the stern. Oh, they're children, aren't they?
I did. Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly, deathly allergical.
Sure. I'll play along.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else.
I'll make the children very, very sad.
What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
True enough.
You presume right.
Straight up asking people about the murder doesn't seem like a brilliant idea right now if they're trying to do an investigation. I would like to find out myself so I don't wind up murdered for no reason. Although, of course, with the power of being the player character, we get information about things that in character we wouldn't know. Although I don't think we can actually put it into practice.
Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Fair enough, I would have her come with us, but I don't think she'd be interested.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
She might be the one. Who knows?
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
Let's see what she's doing.
Rolling dice. Deciding fates.
You know, perhaps on a place that if someone else was able to find out a way around source magic, or source collarship or whatever, perhaps making people angry for no reason isn't a good idea. Let's ask whose fate she's deciding.
Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
Let's take our
She
leave.
smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
Not necessarily, just not willing to go around trying to murder people at random.
Always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, we've got this wolf on a leash now.
Here are all the other characters.
We'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
Let's see who else is here.
Well, well, what have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse.
If you saw my true visage, maybe you would think of me less politely than you are now.
All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Let's humor him.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this.
Now interested in buying my teeth, aren't we? A bit green under the skin, aren't you?
Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
It's been an eternity since I've tried.
In which case, I take it your cuisine is limited to the introduction of eggs to hot water. How disappointing. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Let's stick a thumb through one of the holes in our garb and say these provide cool in the summer.
Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic, a bag is as good as a shirt kind of style. I shouldn't be getting my hopes up.
I mean, I only woke up just a minute ago, so you can't expect much from me.
On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
My god, you are quite humorous. You think yourself to be one of the more glorious ones, but it's a fun game. I don't remember the last time I bathed. What month is this?
Just as I thought. That explains what's besieging my nostrils. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we?
Most likely get out of my sight.
As per your own testimony, you have the taste buds of a dung beetle, the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit, and your personal hygiene reminds one of a carcass rotting in the sun. That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry.
I know I'm not collecting anybody, as of right now, to be in a party, as I'm assuming this is what this section is all dedicated for before I have to go and speak with him. But, well, I'll be mightily disappointed.
I know, but you just don't have what it takes. A good slave's made of sterner stuff, I'm afraid. Still, hone your skills, and one day you may just qualify for a position in a lesser household than mine. You keep dreaming, you hear?
No party at this time? Okay, fair enough. I'd assume that was the case. You know what, I feel like talking with all the NPCs, because these people are all glorious, and I love speaking with them so far. Red Prince is by far my favorite.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions.
Interesting choice of cosmetics for a dwarf.
He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
Let's ask what he might be hearing.
The ship, of course.
Let's see. Perhaps there is something to this old dwarf.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
The ship's moaning like a sick man.
Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums.
Well, the amount of magical and combative prisoners, and the amount of guards I've seen in relation, wouldn't we be just able to take over the ship if we all worked together? I know that's difficult, but wouldn't that be possible?
But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Ah, be silent.
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
What is it supposed to be? I'm quite curious.
It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east.
Not necessarily. That could also mean that we're just turning.
Burn my beard. That means if we've been traveling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
Let's see. You shouldn't talk like that about such a magnificent beard. I'm sorry, that gold clattering to the ground. Someone might just grab it.
Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate. Even here.
Why are you excited about reaching Fort Joy? That place sounds dreadful.
No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
I'll look him over once before leaving. I may want to find him again inside Fort Joy. I'll try to remember the beast. Right, I didn't bother checking to see if I could steal anything. Not a good idea.
What's your name?
Sourcehound.
Gods, didn't you want to teach him any manners?
I wish to see. Pet pal. You can't understand what the animal's trying to say. If only you had the pet pal talent, you could have had a meaningful conversation. Bork bork.
Name? Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, mate. We're trying to catch a killer here.
Right, I haven't actually put myself on the list just yet. Like I said, I can grab these things. I don't know if I should bother.
Well, you got this wolf.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
I'm guessing we can speak with all the origin characters, but we cannot speak with most of the normal people.
A divine order loyal. They killed the sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
You one of them, a divine order loyal? Oh, okay. You don't trust me. Anything that is not read, you can take. Yes, but I'm not the kind of person to just steal everything that isn't nailed down. I was only interested because it was a book, and thus could have something wonderful. Anyway, we should probably actually go and, aside from speak with Ifan Ben Medst, because I don't think there's anyone else that's worth talking to. Except for Magister Vicar.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
You take your KKK-looking self
Against
elsewhere.
the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
I'll take that bet and say he's not.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again.
Well, either way around, he'll learn a very valuable lesson of don't ever judge a book by its cover, so let's move closer.
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Thank you.
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
Let's see, why does the Magister suspect you of murder?
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing.
Well, it could be one of two ways. I don't remember much from his story, even though I only heard it just 2 days ago. But perhaps he's just guarding you, and just saying he's watching.
Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword, and now he's Johnny Big Pants.
What did you do to find yourself at the mercy of a subordinate?
Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties.
I doubt. I think this question would be
Ifan
insensitive.
performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
He seems to be quite the arse.